Some breaking news, though, overnight out of York County. We're learning 5 people were shot at a home in Rock Hill. York County Sheriff's deputies calling it a mass shooting. Right now, we know 2 adults and 2 children were found with gunshot wounds in the home. First at 5, we're following some breaking news from overnight. We're learning 1 person was taken to the hospital after police say they were hit by a pickup truck on North Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach last night. This morning, we continue our team coverage as we wait for the sun to come up to really see the storm damage. We're taking a live look now at Washington, D.C., where the president and the first lady currently under quarantine. We do have some new information, though, we want to tell you guys about. This is the first time this is into our newsroom right at 9:18. All flights in and out of Myrtle Beach International Airport have been canceled. And the big wreck we've been following this morning is in Darlington County, in between the cities of Darlington and Hartsville, at Center Road and Arrowhead Road, where Center Road has been blocked off for just over an hour now. The bad news for us is that we've gone up 7 cents. Yesterday it was 267. Just in the last 24 hours, we're up to 274.
I mean, it is coming down hard right here. I have to wipe the camera every couple of seconds or else it gets washed out. But I mean, it's totally in the last 10 minutes or so, right when that tornado warning came down for this area, getting up in Market Common, it just picked up.
You know, about 30 minutes ago, we were out here in the parking lot trying to show you guys the scope of how big this funeral is and the crowd. We were talking about how this was beginning to fill up, if we can show it. It's entirely full now, and if we can go back over here, you can tell, I'm not sure how good you can see it from here, but they had to go into this other parking lot after this first one filled up entirely, and even that one, we're seeing people park in the grass over on the other side. If you can kind of catch a glimpse of that fire truck. This is actually the date that Governor Henry McMaster suggested back in July. In the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot had to happen to get here. All right, Tanya, so you've definitely covered the snow before, but if you can hear me, I don't know, have you ever been in a snowball fight on air before?
No. No.
Now you have.
Then your coworkers will know you're working out.
Okay, that was a throwback to one of my favorite cheers. But
you were on
Connor, he's on it.
I'm going to be ripped by the end of this month.
By
I'm doing this for
shift.
every read.
It's pretty good. We should have planned out when we were going to take bites.
Right, so that we could all
Let's
kind of
go.
talk. Nope, we're all just hungry
I'm
at
going
this
to finish
hour
this bad boy.
anyway.
You guys.
Go ahead, Connor. I'm just happy there's something for you because, you know, I love...
We are staying on top of developing news from overnight out of Myrtle Beach. Officers say they're investigating a shooting that happened around 10 o'clock last night. They say a 61-year-old man walked into the Grand Strand Medical Center after he had been shot in the hand. Anyone with any information is asked to call police. We'll be getting an update today from state health leaders on the status of fighting COVID-19 in South Carolina. DHEC leaders are set to speak at 2 this afternoon. It comes as the state reported more than 3,000 new cases yesterday, bringing the confirmed total since the start of the pandemic beyond 650,000. And according to the CDC, South Carolina ranks 41st in vaccination rates, with only 49% of the eligible population getting both shots. So far, 58% of South Carolinians have gotten at least one. This morning, we're hearing from Governor McMaster about what it will take to increase those rates.
South Carolina ranks 41 as of yesterday for vaccination rates. What do you think needs to be done to get those numbers up?
Well, all we can do about that is to get the information to the people, tell them what works, what doesn't work, and let them make the best decision for their own families, their own lives.
The governor is also standing in firm opposition to President Biden's vaccine mandate. Today, Governor McMaster is set to speak about best practices for stopping the virus in schools. He'll be part of a roundtable in Kershaw County at 10 this morning. And the state's second largest school district is coming up with plans to enforce a mask mandate in classes. The Charleston County School Board voting to use federal money to enforce the requirements. Officials say by using federal money, they will not be in violation of the proviso, which bans the use of state funds for mandates. The details on how they'll use the federal money to do that are still being finalized. Parents in Georgetown County now have the option to enroll their children virtually, but they need to make that decision soon. Due to the increase in COVID cases, the district has decided to provide a virtual program. It's open to students in grades K through 6. Teachers will teach interactive live lessons and provide virtual support. And the decision is for the entire school year, and applications are due this Friday. Developing this morning, firefighters in Myrtle Beach fighting to extend health care benefits, and they're getting a helping hand from the Professional Firefighters Association of South Carolina. The group gathering yesterday, along with 24 retired Myrtle Beach city workers. And retired city employees used to get lifetime health benefits if they worked for 25 years. That changed in 2009, and instead retirees got $100,000 to cover their health insurance until Medicare starts at age 65. In August, the city sent letters to retired employees telling them their benefits were ending entirely in January. Retired Myrtle Beach firefighters at the rally say they feel betrayed.
It's very stressful knowing that I gave 25 years to the city. It's not just me that gave up a lot of things, it was my family as well. And now it's like thanks for nothing.
We asked city spokesman Mark Krul why this decision was made. His statement in part says, quote, since more affordable and comparable coverage is available for them from the private market, the decision was made as part of the budget process to no longer offer that option to pre-age 65 retirees. City Council decided to revisit the decision at a later workshop.
A South Carolina nonprofit has been teaming up with dredging companies to clean up our waterways, removing more than 100 abandoned and derelict boats, some of which have been there for 20 years or more. ABC 15's Connor Ingalls rode along as one group took on the challenge of getting an 80-footer out of the Waccamaw River.
Televisions, even school buses, little ones at least. Apparently there's a lot lurking below the surface of Conway's Waccamaw River we might not know about. I certainly didn't until I spent a day on the water with Wounded Nature working veterans as they set out to remove another abandoned boat from South Carolina's waterways.
They're an environmental hazard and a hazard to navigation, to safety of boating.
Whit Jones is one of the original founders of the nonprofit, which started removing abandoned boats about 3 years ago. Environmentally, Jones says the damage comes from fuel, oil, fiberglass, and even sewage that can leak into the water over time. To boaters, the threat's even more immediate.
At high tide, higher tides, if a boat's submerged, you can't see it. If you're not a local boater that knows where all the hazards are, you're apt to run across a boat, hit a boat. People can be tossed overboard.
They've teamed up with dredging companies across the state to remove 106 boats so far. Today's job, number 107, was a big one. An 80-foot paddle wheel boat and all the trash it's collected over time. For something this big, you need a full crew. Myrtle Beach's Blackwater Dredging volunteered their services, lending a half-dozen employees, tugboat, and barge.
It is a complicated process, so it's not like an abandoned auto on the side of the road.
That's another thing I learned. Ryan Clay operated the backhoe for this job. He says as much planning goes into it, it's also a lot of improv.
It depends on the current, the wind, a lot of factors, depth of the water.
After clearing out most of the debris around the ship, Plan A to remove it was the easiest method, just scooping it out too. That didn't work this time. So the crew moved to Plan B, which in this case meant pushing the ship into a more shallow area and propping it up, then draining it. An hour or so later, after a full team effort, that was a success, and the tugboat towed away our prize. A job that would normally cost tens of thousands of dollars, done totally free.
It's time to give back. Everyone's, always wanting to do the right thing, and we have an opportunity to do that. So it's good for us, good for the community.
So while I learned you might not know what's in the water, I can tell you there are people out there working together to try and make sure it doesn't harm us. In Conway, Connor Ingalls, ABC 15 News.